all of us at human beings at one point in our lifetimes reached a stage or phase of our existing here when we needed mental and emotional support. That is normal. It is a normal human thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Life is not a box of cupcakes all the time. Or, it's um
No.
it is human life is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, and that's by design. It's challenging. We go through
Hmm.
a lot of things as a human being. We go through a lot of pain. We go through a lot of struggles. We go through a lot of bewildering experiences. And having a system set up to be able to just be realistic about that, just having way more elements of realism around life is hard and we need support, and that's normal. That does not mean you have a mental illness. It means you're a human being. um I think it would shift, of course, then it would shift our paradigm away from psych meds being first line treatment for things that can be supported, alleviated, reduced, or minimized in many other ways.
The things that one can do, one can try before, like going all the way to the last resort, are so vast. Like, and not, they don't have to be complicated, right? Like, I think at least half the people, like a 10-20 minute conversation of somebody, anybody could be their like it could be a friend, a parent, a family member, could be their neighbor, it could be like the checkout person at the grocery store, right? Just being like, you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, what's on your mind? What's on your heart? Like, and just that. And this is where I feel really passionate about counseling and therapy, because it's like just that space to talk and to be heard and to be seen as a human struggling with whatever you're struggling with, because we all struggle with things constantly and repeatedly and at different degrees throughout our life. Like, that is 100% part of being human. um but just having that, like, so many of these folks, there's nothing wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong with them. I think there are like some brains out there that are have a harder time dealing with being human, and that may require more support, but that can still be not medication, that can be supplements, that can be a really like religious yoga routine, or right, like there's lots of ways to support ourselves and our brain and our well-being. um give somebody a chance to think twice about it. Like, yes, inform them of what it is, but I mean, even I think even some people, if they were just given a chance to talk about what was going on, they wouldn't even need to get to the point of informed consent, because they'd be like, "Oh, I've had a good cry. Like, I feel like this sucks and I'm gonna be okay somewhere down the line." It just it's really heartbreaking to think about all those people who've just been thrown into this world of being on psych meds when it would have been so preventable.
Yes. And I think it's that heartbreak is the thing, like the 100 years from now thing, where we'll look
Yeah.
on this and say, because of course, like people getting lobotomies, we don't do them now because it is heartbreaking,
Yeah.
because there's a level of our humanity we know that violates.
Hmm.
And I think very similar. It's very heartbreaking, especially when you see the stories. And I work with people who've been on and stuck in been psychiatrized and stuck in this loop, trying to be a good patient. Meanwhile, they are suffering all the severe side effects of psych meds. And psych med side effects are severe. Why are we trying to minimize them? Who's getting benefit out of this, the minimization
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
of the long-term effects of psychiatric medications? So there's so many things I loved about what you said. One
Mm.
is, just kind of touching on them, is like you said, like, being human is hard. We all need support at
Mm-hmm.
various moments. Some brains are just, for whatever reason, and for circumstances or for reasons we may never understand, some brains are more naturally resilient, period. It's just the difference of us across humanity. Some brains struggle harder with maintaining balance in the circumstance of life is hard. And there are, I think, a small percentage of brains who there is a natural imbalance, because nature does, have inbuilt disruptions to a certain extent. But let's
Mm.
be way more realistic about what percent that is,
Right.
where we're going
Right.
to actually need to and probably have to resort to meds. I would say that percentage is probably more like 2 or 3% rather
Mm-hmm.
than what it is right now, one in
Yeah.
6 people. That's a
Mm-hmm.
huge, huge difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
us understanding that, pulling out the tool of psych meds, and I do honestly think in some cases they are the best we have for that 2 and 3% of the population, and can sometimes be
Mm-hmm.
very helpful in terms of helping a person live a life.
Mm.
The rest of us being supported through this challenge of being human. And you know what I've found now over the last 5 years of kind of taking just this very different tact and really opening my mind to understanding more of what's really going on here, was what I've genuinely found is one of the most stabilizing things for us as humans, or when people are in distress or we're talking about what was their primary original distress. It was they went through something really hard, and maybe that hard thing brought out certain tendencies or natural responses that were challenging, but they went through something very difficult, and no one was there with them. They went through the
Yeah.
breakup. They struggled. They tried to keep going in their regular pace. They tried to make, but it was so overwhelming to them emotionally and mentally. It caused disruption to their daily life somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And in the pressure of trying to keep going at the same pace, nobody coming and pointing it out, and pausing and saying, hey, this is a normal human reaction to what you just went through at this stage and phase of
Right.
your life. This is very normal. People go through this. It's painful. It's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Normalizing these hard human experiences, that's not happening out in the world, in my opinion. And it's
No.
if anything, it's just being overlooked, minimized, or worse, not even asked about. So
Yeah.
many people I meet with who are in the deprescribing process, the prescriber didn't even know or understand the difficult circumstance they were going through at that time.
Right.
Not that they didn't dive into also the complexities of our psyche and, what we went through as kids and developmentally, and trying to, not even going there to that extent,
Mm. Yeah.
just knowing what is the challenging situation that you're in right now.
Yeah. What happened over the last 3 months?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
What's been going on in your life in the last three to 12 months? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? And who's there with you, supporting you?
Right.
Usually there's something going on, and a pretty significant thing going on, and nobody's there with them. They're trying to
Mm-hmm.
struggle through it and muddle through it alone.
Yeah.
So the breakup example, acknowledging it, first of all, that person coming into the office, sitting down, acknowledging that is a really hard thing. That
Yeah.
throws a lot of people off. That's really painful for most everybody, especially if you genuinely, truly, deeply cared for that person.
Right.
And then you're not alone. I'm with you in this. I'm with you here. I'm here to hear about how this is going for you. Where are you at? What thoughts are you thinking? What emotions are you having? What does this mean to you? And let's stay together let's meet on a regular basis until you feel
Right.
like you've got this, because this can throw people off for quite a while. This can be really challenging. And then last but not least, and super important, is, do you feel like you need a break from your regular required activities for a little bit to be able
Yeah.
to kind of, because in some circumstances it's to an extent where somebody can't continue on and functioning in their regular day-to-day responsibilities the way they were. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not freakish. That doesn't mean mentally ill necessarily. That doesn't mean,
No.
that means they just need a little breather,
Yeah.
because what they're going through has stressed them so hard that
Yeah.
they need to regain some strength. They need to take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like such a huge one. I mean, what a novelty. Oh, when we're mentally and emotionally struggling, that we need to take care of ourselves.
That we need to like sleep
That we
and take a minute to like make a good dinner and not just eat McDonald's or right? Like this
yeah.
whole myth of nah, there's more fish in the sea, you'll be fine. Like, and I'm sure we've all been through stuff like that. Most of us, like, or
Yeah.
people just minimizing our problems, trying to help us like move along because that's what society wants us to do. But yeah, like stuff like this is hard. And it's I think I think the younger generations are getting better at advocating for mental and emotional needs, and being vocal about it in a way that pisses a lot of people off. But change has got to happen somehow. Um, and so that gives me some hope for it for the future of this part of things at least. Um,